Mcfarlane Toys panel. I'm Brian Walters. I'm very boring, but with me, I've got Jim Fletcher, who is our creative director of product development at Warner Brothers. Works with us on
I know
all
Fletcher.
DC stuff. Jim, famous Jim.
Yeah, he's famous.
And then obviously our founder and president, creator of Spawn, Mr. Todd Mcfarlane.
Todd! Oh, hey, there he is. It's Todd. It's Todd. Hey, Todd.
So I'll kick it off. Todd, do you want to say anything?
No, just thanks for showing up.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks for hanging through the pandemic. Everybody went through the same thing. All of a sudden, it ate a few years of our lives. We couldn't geek out together. So it's nice to get back to some of these shows and see faces and have a good time. So we're going to show you some cool stuff. Hopefully we can go through it pretty quickly. Leave a few minutes for questions. And then once the questions come up, don't be shy. You can go outside of the box of toys if you have any other questions about anything else in my life. Feel free to ask. So we'll get it going. Brian, you go and do it. By the way, too, Jim is the one. If you guys like a lot of the DC multiverse stuff, Jim is the one that curates that over at Warner Brothers. So he's the one that makes sure that we stay on the straight and narrow and gives us a lot of great suggestions. And we've got a lot of stuff coming through the pipeline. Jim and I talk all the time. Brian, go ahead.
Okay, so we have over 30 figures to reveal today.
Wow,
figures of stature. So we brought some stuff, and thanks again for coming in the rain. This is not very Southern California today. We're gonna kick it off though. Opening day was just the other day for baseball.
Sports.
So Mcfarlane Toys is bringing back baseball figures. We've got some in front of Todd there. So Wave 1 comes out in spring. Todd, do you want to speak to a couple of these? They all come with chases. They're post PPC figures.
Yeah, I don't know, for some of you, some of the old timers out there, we did sports for 10, 15 years before we walked away from it for a bit. We're coming back into it. I mean, I'm a sports nut, so it's nice to get back into it. The upside was when we were doing it, it seemed like we were repeating a lot of the same people in the same sports because they were the popular ones. You take a little bit of time off, there's this whole wave now of this new generation of stars that are out there, right? That we can now do going, man, we've never done Patrick Mahomes. We've never done, Alvarez here. We've never done Aaron Judge. We get to go and do all these players now that have won the award. So pretty exciting to get back into the sort of my personal favorite of sports. So.
And you've played some ball ties. There's gonna be a figure of you in here, I assume.
No, I wasn't very good. But I did play. Look, I know Robert Kirkman hates it when I say it because he goes, "You say it every time, whenever you panel." I did play at a high level. I played Pac-10 baseball when I was younger, and so I was trained. I always thought, ladies and gentlemen, that my ideal life was going to be that I'd get to play in the minors, play baseball at night, but do comic books by day. Right? While my buddies were sleeping or going to the strip bars, I would be doing my comic books and then going and playing. But it didn't quite work out. I ended up going into comic books full time. So.
Might worked out okay though.
Yeah, it did okay.
So Wave 1 launches in May. Obviously Guerrero, Bryce Harper, Alvarez, as Todd said. They all come with chase figures with their alternate uniforms, which is really cool as well, and that backer card with kind of great photos of the characters as well. I almost said superheroes. Some of them are superheroes. So we're going to jump ahead to legacy line here at Mcfarlane Toys with Movie Maniacs. So I'll just knock out the first slide. We revealed these about 2 weeks ago. The Fallout TV show on Amazon Prime.
That looks good,
coming,
actually.
Launches
the trailer.
on April 12th.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
And as you can see, we've got the main characters of Maximus, the Ghoul. Oops, sorry, too far. Lucy and Volpoy, which is obviously like the mascot of. But we worked with the filmmakers and the showrunners to get these figures spot on. So very cool to see those coming again, April 12th on Amazon Prime.
Here's what I'll add to this too. 2024 is the 30th anniversary of Mcfarlane Toys, right? 30 years ago when we started.
Toys. I like toys.
I'm getting old, folks. But one of the things we want to do as part of that celebration was to lean back on some of the brands of some you old-time collectors that basically knew some of those brands. One of them obviously was Movie Maniac, was one of the ones that put us on the map at the very beginning. And so we wanted to come back to do some of those. Once we get through some of the commitments we have to do with some of our contracts, and we'll lean even more into the monster horror
Good.
that basically was the basis of that sort of title, the movie Maniacs, when we started it, and a couple of the other brands we're going to talk to you about here a little bit later. So just sort of doing a little bit of tip our hat to what helped put us on the map 30 years ago, and sort of bring it out to hopefully a new generation, some of the figures.
A new license for us, the Rocky universe will be joining Movie Maniacs as well. Todd's got Apollo Creed right there. In
I
box.
like Apollo Creed.
So we have Rocky 1 all the way through to some of the newer films. So look for that over the course of the next year and a half in Movie Maniacs to see some of those movies. We've got a comedy wave here.
Oh,
so,
jeez.
Yay!
I actually want the Dazed and Confused
we
one.
use Maniac.
Yeah,
loosely
I
around
bet there's
here.
a lot of 40-year-old
version,
versions here.
The Big Lebowski, the Dude, and then David Wooderson from Dazed and Confused. That's McConaughey there. So look for those as well.
Yeah, again, when we had internal conversations about what the definition of maniac meant, we broadened it pretty wide.
Yeah.
I'd put all three of these guys in that category right here. So.
And then from our friends at Warner Brothers,
Whoa, Matrix.
trilogy we'll be diving into. Actually, it's more than 3 films now.
It doesn't look like Keanu,
Yeah,
though.
Neo and Trinity from the first Matrix film.
Yeah, so we did those when the movie first came out, right? When the Matrix sort of blew all of us away. We get to come back and nod our heads to tried and true brand that basically changed a lot of the visuals in Hollywood for us. So, yeah.
Going to jump ahead now to the number one action figure line of
That's what I
2021, DC Multiverse.
All right, final.
So you've got
Hold on, I'm gonna jump on that for a minute.
Whoa, whoa,
Right, so
whoa.
I don't know if you guys just heard what he just said. In 2021, in the middle of the pandemic, we don't even have the full master toy license from DC. We have a sliver of it. And within that sliver, the DC Multiverse line that we did outsold, because they take retail data every time the company that basically covers all this, when you scan something, they count it. And in 2021, the DC Multiverse, thanks to you good people, was the #1 selling line. It's outsold Marvel, it outsold Transformers, it outsold G.I. Joe, Star Wars. It was the DC Multiverse. Now, and again, at a time when everybody was hunkering down, again, there wasn't a lot of big movies coming in that were driving stuff. So we had an opening, and we basically did as good as we can. We got to the top of the hill against some big Fortune 500 companies. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you all the collectors, amazing. That's just amazing.
So we've got some figures that are hitting shelves very soon. So for
here we go. Oh, yeah, we saw this.
Okay, yeah.
The Azrael,
I like the blue one.
Batman from Night's End, and then a black and gray version of Nightfall. But some new figures that Jim's going to take us through on the next slide, and you can see it there in front of you.
Whoa,
Oh,
new.
dang.
Ambush bug.
That's
What
new.
else is there to say?
that Robin
Not
looks good,
only
dude.
Ambush bug, but
Is
the
that
fact
Tim
he
Drake?
comes with Cheeks,
Yeah,
the
but it's
Wonder
Rebirth.
Toy.
Oh, Rebirth Tim
I don't
Drake.
know why the presentation's done, right? That's it. That's the end of the panel.
Ambush
So
bug.
there's some great stuff coming. You got the Mr. Cool, Mr. Freeze in there, that new version of Booster Gold, a Tim Drake Robin. I mean, what's been great about working with this team is they're not afraid to go in there deep and really support, the fan base. We don't get to see a lot of these figures a lot of the time. Well, we do have those conversations.
Yeah.
but you're going to see some really cool stuff coming in. It's a great mix of characters that are, would be considered A-list characters, and then, people like this. So can I get a shout out for Ambush Bug in the meantime?
So here's, I know people are constantly asking us, like, how do you come up with your characters? They have a lot of suggestions. And here's sort of how it goes a little bit, and it's not really overly complicated. We have to do the core figures on an ongoing basis, right? And I know it's interesting, every now and then I'll get somebody to go, are you doing a lot of Batmans? Yes. You know why? Because every day there's a Batman fan, right? If somebody says, well, did you do a Batman in January? Well, if that fan didn't go into the stores in January, you're saying he's not a Batman fan in February, March, and April? Of course he is, right? So we have to have the core figures almost on a 365. They're the evergreen. So they will always be there, because if it's not from the people who just like the brand, it's from moms and kids that are basically buying gifts or Christmas or whatever. I mean, you got Easter, you got something you can give away. Then there's the other part, which is some of the figures you see here. Can we sneak in enough of the sort of down the stream characters that we know aren't going to do a giant business overall, but can we make just enough so that we can get them out sometimes for the very first time?
Yeah.
I look at them as a sports guy. I don't know if this makes sense to all of you guys, but the most valuable card for all the superstars of sports is the rookie card.
Yeah.
Right? You get the rookie card of any baseball player, that's going to be their most expensive one. I sort of look at some of these characters as that, right? If nobody's made them before or put them in that costume, this is essentially the first time you can get your hands on it. This is the rookie card, right? You can, look, we can all go on eBay and we can get Batman going back 40, 50 years, right? So I'm not going to do anything there. But all of a sudden somebody comes along like the Joker, the Batman Who Laughs, that's a new character. And a new character that's getting made in the DC universe or in a movie, we get to make it for the first time. It's a big deal. I think it's actually part of the reason that our line has succeeded as much as it is, because we've been diving into these A, B, C, and even to sometimes D characters all the way around. I don't expect anybody never have to basically buy everything that we do. I've always said that I'm in the buffet business. And in the buffet, you put out all this food and we let you, the consumer, come across and you put on your plate what you enjoy.
Stay
That's
hungry.
it. Yeah, that's it. So you just put what you want and walk by all the rest of it. But there's a big variety of appetites out there. So these figures that you see up on the screen are just an example of those kinds of ones that are there. So hopefully some of them will be of interest to you that collect the DC multiverse out there.
So as Ambush Bug's rookie card, you're suggesting we should probably get a lot of these, because they're going to be worth the most of any of these other figures. So
Okay,
stock up.
here's the fun of, again, he's a big green guy, right? So again, he doesn't have the complicated, but look, he's got his little teddy, right? He's got a little teddy in his arm. That's the cool piece
The
to
toy
me,
wonder.
right? Yeah, the prop on him is pretty cool. Yeah, the toy wonder.
We've got a wave of exclusives
Come on.
at some
we've seen
various
those already.
retailers
Oh,
that we
I've
want to
seen
highlight
those.
here. So Nightwing from DC versus Vampires, the very popular story
That
arc in
Kilowog looks
DC.
good, though. It looks good.
That's at Walmart along with
No.
Wally West.
There's different versions of
Rival along with Cassandra Cain back reel. First time we're getting Cassandra Cain in the lineup. Those two will be at Target. And then Kyle Rayner Kilowog. I know there's a lot of people trying to complete the Green Lantern universe, Green Lantern Corps. There's 3,000 figures to go, I think. But Kyle Rayner and Kilowog in a 2-pack for Amazon. That's up for pre-order now, so you can go track those down.
That's a lot of rookie cards, Brian.
Yeah, it's a lot of really good. That's our very first kill. Everybody on that slide except for Kyle, I think, is a first appearance in the multiverse lineup.
So look at here, just so everybody knows, the contract we have with DC allows us to do anything from basically 1936 up, especially on the comic book front. So you can imagine with over 70 years of characters, we will never get even close to getting deep into that vault, right? So even though people go, man, why are you making that character? There are so many others. So that's the upside. We get to try and pick these cherries, if you will, bring them out and have a good time with it. But we could go on and on literally for decades. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we will. So.
Approved.
3 characters just approved by Jim, as a matter of fact. So,
Whoa,
now these are gonna be
Manhunters.
so they're going to be
And
extremely rare,
Sportsmaster.
and only at your
Oh,
brick and mortar
dude,
stores.
I want
so,
those.
You have
those
to go
look
in
good.
store to find these. But
They're not
Manhunter, Reverse Flash, New 52,
Platinum.
and Deep Cut like Sportsmaster.
Are they
these
40
are all
bucks?
going to be platinum editions. So if you're in that collector hunt, these are
Manhunter.
3 to kind of go after straight away. So
Is he there for all the sports analogies we've been talking about? Was that the...
What's that, sorry?
He's there for all the sports analogies.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty clever. Nice.
Up for pre-order right now is a great 90s wave and the first appearance
Oh,
of Plastic
yeah.
Man in our
Plastic
line.
Man.
I want everything but
You
Batman.
can look for this. He comes with various different parts that
And
make
John
him all stretchy and full Plastic Man form here. But you collect all 4 and then you can build Plastic Man. These will be hitting shelves in just a couple of weeks here. So excited about that.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I think when you build Plastic Man, you also get normal arms.
Right,
And then,
exactly.
and two different heads.
Yep.
So you can have, and again, like this one doesn't have, if you can see up on the screen, he's got that long neck, right? So you can either do the stretchy version of him, or you can basically take all the pieces off and on because they pop in and out, right? And then you can put the normal ones on it. So you, not only do you get a Build-A-Figure, but you also get a variation of that Build-A-Figure. You can make them stretching or non-stretching. So he's, again, a pretty funky, cool guy. Right
Can
here.
I have it?
So,
And actually made of plastic, so pretty accurate.
yeah.
We've been diving into the legacy movies of DC.
Oh, shit.
Oh, here we go,
Jim,
here we go.
Tell you which the next one is. We've done Batman and
I
Robin.
say it's Batman.
The Dark Knight trilogy.
What do you say?
Batman Forever?
We've
You think it's
got,
Batman?
One from the
Batman
mid-90s.
Forever?
that I think
Oh,
everybody's
midnight.
gonna
Yeah,
be
Batman. It's gotta be Batman
Yeah,
Forever.
it's Batman.
What could it be?
Could it be
Forever.
Come on, it's Batman.
Forever.
I knew it.
There you go.
I knew it's Batman.
Yeah.
I guessed it right. It's Batman.
I don't have any.
Oh, there we go.
Ah,
Yeah.
So yeah, we finally got Val Kilmer, Chris O'Donnell. I mean, these
Yeah, man.
toys, I think people have been looking forward for a long time. I mean, the Tom Lee Jones, the Jim Carrey, the Riddler there is just amazing. I mean, you guys did a great job.
Yeah,
with
it's fun as a
details on
bat.
These we were really happy to see these when they came in. So hope you guys are excited as we are to see these because they're really, really cool looking.
Yeah, we got a really big response when we were at Toy Fair and at retail of our last Batman movie line, right? Where we had the Build-A-Figure was Arnold Schwarzenegger as, you know, Mr. Freeze, I think Poison Ivy was in that one, and Batgirl and Robin and Batman. That was the George Clooney Batman,
Yep.
right? And people really, which is interesting, this many years later, are like, oh, I think there's a group of you out there that are now trying to collect like the Batman movie characters. And so whether you are giant fans of the characters and or the movie itself, it seems to be a group of you that want to have some kind of remnant from each one of those movies. So we're trying to make sure that we deliver on all of that.
I am in that group, by the way.
Yeah.
That's so
There is a Build-A-Figure here, obviously. So,
wow. Who is it?
it's
Who
the
is it?
Nightmare Man.
No,
Man
what the
Bat.
heck?
From those nightmares.
That's crazy.
So, great creature for
That
us.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it looks amazing. That is.
Is that
such
from a movie?
Cool addition
Yeah,
to that
it's from the
collection,
deleted scene.
and,
Oh.
that was a great choice. Build-A-Figure.
That's actually really cool that they did that.
Like
Yeah,
we said a
Build-A-Figures.
moment ago, we've been building out the Dark Knight.
What we got
Christian
here?
Bale,
Oh,
Christopher Nolan Batman.
another Batman?
Over
What do we
the
got?
past
Come on,
probably year and
bring
a
out the
half,
next
you can see
Batman.
The full slate of figures and vehicle that we've released, but there's one noticeable accessory that we have not gotten to yet. Jim, do you
Tumbler.
want to tell us which one?
Well, you know, we're saying had that when we were driving here this morning, because in the rain we could have used maybe something like
Dude,
There it is.
tumbler. Keeps the rain off. It's great to see that addition come into the line. It's a complicated vehicle to make because of all the little pieces and stuff. But
Does it fit
it's-
two?
How can this?
Does it fit one?
And
Does
this
it
will
fit
come with
one?
a figure
Barely?
as well, much like we did with the Catwoman Bat Pod.
It's got to come with the guy who made
And
it.
Lucius Fox, the creator.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, it's Lucius.
We'll be with that one. So,
Hey.
all the Morgan Freeman fans.
Yeah, so let me talk to you about like the 30 years. When we first got into toys, and I don't know if you guys remember, that you would, in most toy stores, you'd have the figures here, some of the small ones here, and then you had the boxes down below. That was like the headquarters and the vehicles and stuff. The retailers, probably about 10, 12 years ago, got away from the big boxes. They didn't want the high-end price stuff. Maybe at Christmas. They go, maybe at Christmas we'll take something. But they got scared for the first 9 months of the year of getting anything over that $25, $30 range. In that 30 years came this thing called the internet that now allows us to go to different people, you know, again, Amazon being one of the big ones, but plenty of other people, and we do it ourselves. We actually have a website ourselves that now allow us to get the vehicles back into circulation again, where before, vehicles in headquarters, for some of you that have been collecting for a while, you saw that it got harder and harder and harder to not only collect it, because people weren't even making it, because the retailers were not buying it. And now we have a back door, so now we can do the vehicles. And so far, especially with a lot of the Batman vehicles in the movies, we've almost got a complete sellout out of most of the vehicles we've done in the last 3-4 years.
Oh, that's right.
Look amazing.
That's a two-seater car, so you can fit two figures in there. And we don't have a shot of it.
It's big and beefy. I've seen it, big and beefy. So make sure you got a lot of shelf space.
Clear out all the other licensed properties. Just put
Collector
this one
edition,
in.
dude.
Collector's
We've been
edition.
having a
I
lot
like
of fun with
collecting.
McFarlane Collector Edition. This line allows us to go a little deeper with the character selection. There's 3 characters here that you guys have been screaming for.
Who is it? Who
One
is it?
in particular is a Teen Titans
Batman?
member that was not included in the Build-A-Figure
Titans?
wave a little while back.
Cyborg?
Look for
Oh,
Starfire,
Starfire.
Captain
Oh, that
Boomerang,
penguin, dude.
Classic penguin in the lineup here.
The chase is gonna be.
Yeah.
Those all have chases.
I like Starfire.
And then Jim, you want to take us through the next slide, which has some key characters as well.
Yeah,
Who's
so
that?
this
Oh,
is-
Sergeant
Oh,
Rock.
that's the
Like
manga.
There you
I was
go.
saying
Sergeant
earlier,
Rock.
it's really fun to dig in and get to some
I like Sergeant
characters,
Rock.
or even new looks of characters. Like,
He
you know, like we're
rocks.
talking about a lot of Batmans. This is another Batman loosely based on a Gerard
Sergeant Rock gonna
version
get
of
guns?
Batman that was out a while ago. But Sergeant Rock's
He's a
pretty
soldier.
exciting. Can't think of the last time we had that figure out there. That was a really cool piece to get in there. Connor Kent is in there as well.
He's gonna
But
get a
the
knife.
Sergeant Rock thing's really cool. That's part of this assortment because that's something we haven't seen.
The interesting conversation with Sergeant Rock is, look, I've been dealing with corporations for 30 years, and they each have their own agendas, and I don't argue with their agendas. They make their billions of dollars. They have to protect their billions of dollars, and they have to do what they think is right. So the conversation, the reason it took us so long to get Sergeant Rock is that, you know, we're at this point where they don't like us to put guns in with the toys. And so we keep having these conversations of, no, I get it for that guy and that guy and that guy, but Sergeant Rock, like, how do I do Sergeant Rock if he doesn't have a military gun, right? To me, it's just an army figure, essentially.
It's been a great panel, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. But, no, but again, as time's gone by, then the doors have slowly opened up, and there are now different ways for us to start to introduce different props that are appropriate for the right characters, as long as they're sort of labeled the right way and doing whatever else, because again, everybody sort of came to conversation that maybe there was a bit of an overcorrection there. And Sergeant Rock sort of was, to me, the leading guy in most of my conversations of, like, we have to be able to do something with him. So we'll have variations on some of these that will and won't have certain props, and they'll be sold in different places with different labels and whatever else. But pay attention to some of those nuances that are out there in the open market.
We're gonna jump over to digital collectibles.
Whoa,
Still
my
7-inch
favorite.
figures within the DC multiverse, but we have a physical digital, or Phygital is what everyone's calling it,
Phygital.
product coming
Phygital.
out. Mcfarlane Toy Store Digital. Mcfarlane,
can't wait to
McFarlane
pose my
Toys
digital
launched
figure.
over the last year. A quick intro video that kind of showcases what goes on in that space, and then we'll get to the figures.
Hey, Marlo.
Marlo, look at this.
Yeah. Come on, Marlo.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's not real. I thought it was real.
No, it's digital, buddy. Welcome to the new age of collecting.
Yeah, the Batmobile looks the same.
Oh man.
So
wait to download this on Google.
Let's talk about digital for a bit.
You just got
That's
that
I
today,
just got
man.
that right now.
Conversation that people have a strong opinion about, right? Cool. My words of advice to anybody for 30 years, 40 years have been in the industry has always been the same. Whether you like what I do or you don't like what I do, my answer to anybody that doesn't like what I do is the same. Spend your time and your money on things you enjoy.
That's true.
Simple, right? I don't know why people spend so much time talking about things they don't like and writing articles about things they don't like. Just spend your time and money on things you like. It's a way cooler day. It's a way cooler day. Here's the thing about digital. Here's the thing about digital. And it's a piece that people, because I do some stuff sort of in the NFT digital art space, I call it. People don't understand a little bit that the world's a big place, and here's why digital matters to some people. I mean, there's speculators, okay, fine, but there's also two groups of people I don't think that most people give heed to. One is there are people live in countries and islands that are across the world that it costs $25 to buy that toy, but it costs nearly $120 to ship it. $120 to ship. That's 4 times the cost of your actual figure. And so they can't and they won't, they don't have the funds. You can imagine they're off in a place, they just go, I can't do it. So they have two choices, ladies and gentlemen. They can either just go, well, I guess I'm not gonna be part of the party, or you have to give them an option. And the option is, well, you can get it digitally. And then you don't have to pay the $130. Not as good as for us that like to be able to have it on our shelf, but it's there, and now they get to still be part of the party. They get to be geeks, right? Nothing wrong with being geeks. Everybody here is one. What, like, to me, open up the door. The other one that seems even odder is that if you live in Tokyo and you're a young person, you can't afford a house. And if you've been to Tokyo in certain places, your house is about 400 square feet. You can't even put that toy hardly in your room. Because if you get too many of those, you're gonna have to live without a refrigerator, because that's taken up about a quarter of it. So they then can't have a bunch of toys like we can, so they're out of the party, unless you give it to them digitally, right? And so their options are, if I can have nothing, or I can have digital, I'll take digital, which is better than nothing. And here's the thing that's weird. My wife does this to me too, because she doesn't get it. She's like, why does anybody not want something? Why does anybody not want something? It's not in their hands, it's not physical. Why would anybody, it's not there, right? Here's the reality for everybody who says that, and that's mostly old people. You're all doing it. You're all doing it anyways. It's weird to me that you're doing something, yet you're surprised that other people are doing it. So here's how I know you're doing it. Pull out your phone, go to your gallery, and show me a picture of your grandkid or your son. Now here's what I'll say. That's not your fucking real baby either. It's a digital image of your real baby or son or wife. But when you look at it, it puts a smile on your face and it gives you joy. So why can't you transfer that to toys? The answer is you can, right? Just stop it, right? At some level, let people, like I don't mind if people don't want to collect what I have, just step out of the side and let people who like it at the buffet, just put it on their plate. If you don't like broccoli at the grocery store, walk on by it. Just walk on by it and put in the vegetables you like. But I never see anybody at the grocery store ever stop, go get the manager, tell them to come back here, go, how dare you have that broccoli? I don't like it. I personally don't like it. Friends have told me it's not very good. I don't want my kids consuming it. I don't even want it. No, you just walk by. I think everything you consume should be like vegetables at the grocery store. Walk on by if you don't like it. But here's what I don't do, ladies and gentlemen. I hate Brussels sprouts. And here's what I don't do. I don't go to BrusselsSprouts.com and go, fuck, I hate this shit, right? I just don't eat it. I don't take it. I don't put it in my thing. I don't go to any sites about Brussels sprouts, and I just don't consume it. I buy what I like, and I take and I spend money on things that I like, and let the Brussels sprout people do their thing, right? So
I'm
if
on
you like,
BrusselsSprouts.com right now.
oh, that's, I'm under an alias.
Wait, are you real? Hold on.
I'm Broccoli Man.
Are you real?
Anyways, so the digital gives you an option to vote. For $24.95, it's just a mindset. Either say, oh man, I'm getting a toy, and they're giving me a free digital. Super cool. Or, if you like the digital space, you're going, wow, I'm getting a digital for $24, which is about the going price, and they're throwing a free toy into it. I don't care how you get there, right? We did it with our Kickstarter toy with Spawn. We had the comic book in there. Either assume you're getting the comic book for $40 and I'm throwing a figure in, or you're getting a figure and I'm throwing a free comic book. I don't care how you get there mentally. Some of you like both, that's okay, but the digital space, it's a real arena, and it's not going away. It's not going away right now. Matter of fact, I believe a couple days ago, for a short period of time, Bitcoin hit an all-time high, right? It hit an all-time high. So it's not going away.
I just want to say this is the only panel you'll be able to go to where you'll hear about Todd's vegetable eating habits as well as plastics. So we know these things now. I had no idea.
Just wait till I get to dessert.
That's why we're all here.
the constructs Green Lantern has.
All right, go.
Where's they look like Brussels sprouts?
Yeah, now you go.
Nice tie-in.
Back to you, Brian.
Okay. So what we're doing with the Mcfarlane Toys Digital, we're
that's
recreating
just
the
the
Build-A-Figure approach, but in the digital space. So if you buy
for the
these three
questions?
figures
You're
at
getting
your
ready
favorite
for the
store,
questions.
Green Arrow Longbow Hunter I think is the
I think
biggest
so.
reveal here, which is kind
Mine
of
is
cool.
too.
You can then build a
that's
digital
what it is.
collectible for free, which so you'll get the Green Arrow, for example, digital collectible in the digital space, and if you buy all three, you link all three codes together, you'll be able to have the Animal Man digital collectible in the digital space. So we're trying to recreate the Build-A-Figure in the NFT digital space as well.
And if you saw in that video real quickly, you can go to a room and literally all the things you collect, you can put them in a room and you can display them any way you want, right? So,
And they've got motions going on too, which is cool.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Like some of them actually have animation and stuff on it that other
That's what
people
we're getting?
don't.
Yeah, that's
allow.
digital.
But, again, I've seen, we've done
That's
contests
24
where
bucks
people
each.
show us their collections digitally, and some of them are pretty impressive, just like people who show us
you
their
sure?
collections physically are impressive. Yep.
Plus, like you said about the space, you've got an endless room that you can put the collections in now. The digital space is just
No,
endless.
that kid in Tokyo
Yeah,
can now
amazing.
have 1,000 figures in his 400 square foot house,
I'm sure he buys mine.
and he doesn't crowd anything, right? It's just like having pictures on your phone. So
More collectibles to fill your space. So DC Superpowers, our retro line here that plays off the toy line from the 80s. It's the 40th anniversary of Superpowers, so we're including gold figures as chases. So you're seeing Superman,
Wait, we've already seen those.
but also Kilowog, Blue Beetle, and then we have two great vehicles which Todd has right in front of him. The first one being the Skull Ship.
That's not the stuff.
That's the bug ship. We'll do.
there we go.
First one is this.
You gave me the wrong one.
Sorry.
So super cool vehicle there for Brainiac.
Yeah, I don't look. We got Brainiac. Look at these things. These things are so simple. They're kind of cool, right? And now let me also say that I came into this industry years ago, 30 years ago, going, how simple are these toys? I can make better looking toys than that. Now I'm making simple toys, right? So
Back to square one.
every time I see one, there's a little bit of a wince. I have a little bit of a wince going, man, that's why I started the company. But now we're going retro. We're going nostalgia. That's the play. These ones right here, I wish that the boxes showed how cool some of these vehicles are. So like this one here, it's got the legs on it here. But when you roll it along the ground, all the legs move, right? There's a mechanism on here where the legs move.
Probably does.
Yeah. Well, they're not gonna be able to see it though. They're not gonna be able to see it there.
Yeah, here it is.
There you go.
I'm so relaxed.
Anyways, it's cool. It's cool.